Have you ever challenged yourself in a way that it stretches you outside of your normal being? I love to be able to do this. I like to try it. Permission to try is probably one of the greatest things that you could ever give yourself. And to be able to give yourself that, you got to have grace. My mom taught me this from a very early age. She just said, you're awesome. You're beautiful. You can do anything that you put your mind to. My pop said that you're the greatest boy, so act accordingly. And when I thought of those things, trying something new, testing something out. And a lot of times I do it here on the podcast. People ask me all the time, they're like, how long does it take you to edit and produce and do all those things? Today, we're doing 5 back-to-back live episodes, producing them. We're releasing them. We're doing everything. They're edited in real time. And honestly, like, we're taking a risk. I'm taking a risk right now because what I'm doing is for the last 5 or the next 3 episodes that we do, we've already done 2. We're doing them live and we're going at it. And so I always like to be able to challenge myself. And what I want to do is I want to challenge you to give yourself permission to try something new today. And it doesn't have to be massive. Today is all about Inchstones. It's another episode of Inchstones where we go the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. It's the little tiny things that you could do. But imagine if you gave yourself that little permission to try. Years ago, I was in the professional beauty industry. I was the director of the salon at Mandalay Bay, and I got released from my job on a Monday night. I didn't even work. It was my day off. I was like Craig. I got fired on my day off, and God put it on my heart to start my own company. And this was probably the silliest thing that I could have done because I could have got a job anywhere. I had a phenomenal resume, but what I chose to do is go out and start my own company. I had never started a company before, but because my parents had told me I'm awesome, I'm beautiful, I could do anything, I'm the greatest, so I need to act accordingly, I stepped out. And what I found was business was nothing more than a bunch of small tasks done in a timely manner. Now, some people, fault me for oversimplifying, but it really is that. And how do we build a business? Well, we build the people, and then the people build the business. So I ask you today, take one little tiny risk. Today I'm taking a risk because not only am I doing 5 episodes in a row, and they're live and they're edited, so if I mess up, it's still here. But also, this proverb in Proverbs 10, it was written completely different. I don't know if this style will work. I don't know if you'll like it, but we're going to go through it. And it's the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day, and the title is The First Time. And the reason why I said this is because do it right the first time. This was something that I heard in my head when I was a kid. And I was living on Vandenberg Air Force Base, and I was washing the dishes with my big brother. I'm the little brother, so I didn't get a chance to choose whether I washed the dishes or I dried them or I put them away. I had 2 older brothers, and they got to choose first, and I had to do whatever. So they told me, wash the dishes. So I did them, and I just wanted to wash them as fast as possible. When I got done, my brother handed me back the dish, said it's still dirty. And I looked at him and I was like, okay. So I did it again really fast. He handed it back to me. And what I realized after 3 times of washing that exact same dish, if I would have done it right the first time, I probably would have taken less time. Some people will say, like me, if you can feel this, is I learn by going through it. I learn by, experience. I do that, but it takes a lot longer. I would like to learn from wisdom, sit down, understand, and do it right the first time. So Big Rob, I thank you so much for that story. I thank you so much for the inspiration. And why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got 2 shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
I just got a message from my buddy David Hamilton, and I sent him out the notes for Proverbs 12, which is the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. And that's today's message. And I sent it out. And the way that God did it is he just wrote 2 columns. Well, we're going to be doing these 2 columns today. We're doing Proverbs 10, and we're actually recording 5 episodes right in a row. And so I want to thank you for being here with me, saying thank you for listening, tuning in. It's my absolute honor to be with you. If you don't know about the Vibe Room, it's July 23rd. Kevin Borland, Justin Williams, Patrick Packer, our alliance partners. Thank you guys so much for making it possible. Also, Roy Tuscany is going to be our special guest. The High Fives Foundation. This guy is absolutely phenomenal. Miguel Mendoza is going to be our musical guest. You are going to absolutely love it. It's a live version of the podcast in a speakeasy 60s jazz club. It is unbelievable at the Edison House. So thank you for housing us there at the Edison House. Let's go to Proverbs 10. The precursor to it is make sure today you give yourself permission to try a little something. Today I'm trying something. So wrote the notes a little bit different, and it just do it right the first time, right? And so what God did in this, it was great because he actually added just a checklist. There's a with him and without him. So doing it right? And like, I think people think about this word. I want to hit on this one, righteousness. I said it the other day, and I was having a conversation, and a guy said righteousness, and then he backed off it. He was like, "Oh no, I don't mean it like that." And I was like, "It's okay to say righteousness." And he said, "No, righteous, that means that, that person feels that everyone's wrong and they're right." No. Righteousness is just doing the right thing. And how do we do the right thing? How do we know what the right thing is at that particular moment? The only way is when we stay in communication with God. And he'll give us the exact right. And where this hit me so hard, we were on the way back from Las Vegas to California. And my buddy Dave and I, we stopped at a gas station. We go to walk in, and there's a homeless man outside, and he says, "Do you have any money?" And I just didn't even react, just reached in my pocket, gave him a 20, and I moved on. We got in the car, and then Dave and I started to discuss, man, that guy is probably going to buy some alcohol and just get drunk, and I probably shouldn't have given him the money. And then Dave and I, as we were discussing it, I didn't even hesitate, meaning that God just moved me to give him the money. And once I gave him the money, it wasn't my responsibility anymore. It was my responsibility to do what God told me to do at that time. And what he gave me the parable while we were driving was, sometimes we're to give money to somebody. Sometimes we're to give them a glass of water. But if we give money to the person who we were supposed to give water to, and give water to the person who we were supposed to give money to, then we're outside of what God wants us to do. And how can we know what he wants us to do? By just staying in communication with him and having a personal relationship, not through respect or not through religion or ritual, but just through relationship. So we're going to rapid fire in this, because doing it right the first time, imagine if we just had a key, like a little map, or if we had a GPS that would say, like, here's with him, here's without him. Here's the map, okay? So we'll compare and contrast this. And so this was wild. I got my notes here. If you want my notes, send me a message. Hit me in the comments, hit a comment, whatever it is. I'll send you out the message, or I'll send you out the notes. They're in my handwriting, which my dad said was art. So here we go. With him, you'll have joy, life. You won't go hungry. You'll have diligence, which will bring wealth. You'll have prudence, blessings, good name, accept commands. You'll walk in integrity. It'll be a fountain of life. You'll have love. Wisdom will be on your lips. You'll have discernment. You'll store up knowledge. You'll have life. You'll understand the way of life. You'll hold your tongue. You'll speak life. You'll nourish many. You'll bring, your blessings will bring wealth without painful toil, delights in wisdom, desires will be granted. You'll have a firm foundation, length to life, joy, refuge, never be uprooted, fruit of wisdom, lips will find favor. That's all with him. Without him, you'll have grief, no value, undelivered cravings. You'll be lazy, and you'll have poverty, a poverty mindset. You'll be disgraceful. You'll have violence, a rotten name. You'll talk a lot but say nothing. You'll have crooked paths. You'll conceal violence. You'll stir up conflict. You'll have no sense. You'll invite ruin into your own life, sin and death. You'll derail others. You'll lie. You'll spread slander. You'll multiply your words. Your heart will have little value. You'll lack sense. You'll have wicked schemes. Dread will be delivered. No foundation. You'll be like vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes. Your life will be cut short. Lost hope, ruin, wiped away, silenced. Speak only perversity, grief, and ruin. And as I run through those things, let me do this real quick, because again, this is the first time that I've ever compared and contrasted something, but I want to go back and forth. In verse number 1, it says, you can either, with him, you can have joy. Without him, you'll have grief. In verse number 2, you'll have life with him. And without him, you'll have no value. In verse number 3, it says, doesn't go hungry. And with him, don't go hungry. Without him, undelivered craving. With him, diligence and wealth. Without him, laziness and poverty. With him, prudence. Without him, disgracefulness. With him, blessings. Without him, violence. With him, good name. Without him, rotten name. With him, accept commands. Without him, talks a lot. With him, walks in integrity. Without him, crooked paths. With him, fountain of life. Without him, conceals violence. With him, love. Without him, stirs up conflict. With him, wisdom will be on your lips, and it'll be discerning. Without him, you'll have no sense. With him, you'll store up knowledge. Without him, you'll invite ruin. With him, you'll have life. Without him, you'll have sin and death. With him, you'll have the way of life. Without him, you'll derail others. Without him, you'll have lying lips that spread slander. With him, you'll hold your tongue. Without him, you'll multiply your words. With him, you'll speak life. Without him, your heart has little value. With him, you'll nourish many. Without him, you'll lack sense. With him, blessings will bring wealth without painful toil. Is probably my favorite verse out of every single one that there is. In Proverbs 10, verse 22, blessings bring wealth without painful toil. When you focus on God, he'll bring all of it. He'll be the best marketer and the best PR agent in the entire world. With him, delights in wisdom. Without him, wicked schemes. With him, desires granted. Without him, dread delivered. With him, firm foundation. Without him, no foundation. Without him, vinegar to teeth and smoke to eyes. With him, length to life. Without him, your life will be cut short. I put the question mark in here as my pops because my dad was with him. Pops was with him. And in verse 27, I'm very confused by this, but I question this all the time because my pops was with him, but his life was cut short in my eyes. But my pops also told me right before he passed away, a couple years before, we were walking on the beach, and he said, there's so many times, son, where I wasn't supposed to make it past that day, and I did. So God extended his life. With him, you'll have joy. Without him, you'll lose hope. With him, you'll have refuge. Without him, you'll have ruin. With him, you'll never be uprooted. Without him, you'll be wiped away or have no foundation. With him, you'll have the fruit of wisdom. Without him, you'll be silenced. With him, you'll have lips that find favor. And without him, you'll speak only perversity. Without him, you'll have grief or ruin. Do it right the first time. Imagine if you had this list, and if you want the list, reach out to me. I'll send you the notes. But if we were to look at this, if you were to simply, any human being that I know was to look at this and say, there's a life with him and a life without him, it would be so easy to choose with him. But a lot of times we don't have it right in front of us. We don't have that roadmap right in front of us. And it's imperative that we have that. Imagine what your life would be right now without GPS. Imagine starting a trip and having to pull out a map. And what God has said is like, I will meet you exactly where you're at. You don't need to do anything. The fisherman cannot clean the fish before he catches them. He wants you right now, right where you're at. And he gives us a roadmap, the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. And it's there, every single verse. I tell you, it is unbelievable. It's mind-blowing for me to be able to look at these kind of things. And it reiterates, just do it right the first time. That's what my brother told me. And that's what I want to share with every single one of you. I want you to take a risk, but take a risk. Give yourself permission to try. Look at that list and say, which one would you choose? Choose with him. It'll always be better. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in, subscribing, sharing it with your friends. The greatest compliment you can ever give me is to listen to the podcast, comment on the podcast, subscribe, and share it with every single person that you possibly can. Check out the Vibe Room, July 23rd. I absolutely love you. Make sure that you check out the playlist. If you're loving the episodes like this, check out the playlist, Wisdom and the Vibe. It's about 10 to 15 minutes of daily soul food. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.